Running your own business is awesome. It's the dream, as they say. But it's very stressful as well. Customers, they'll see the front end, the products, the signs, the slogans, the happy owner. But it's the back end of the business that really drives the ship. The inventory management, the sales conversions, order processing and shipping. The business behind the business is the key to business. And for millions of businesses around the world, that business behind the business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're home of the #1 checkout on the planet, which is why so many businesses work with them. And Shopify brings the heat with their secret weapon, Shop Pay, which boosts sales conversions by up to 50%. And that means way fewer carts are being abandoned to checkout and way more sales are going. If you want to grow your business, you better be ready to sell anywhere and everywhere your customers are. Scrolling social media, on your website, in your store, and everywhere in between. It's no secret. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz and Mattel use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RTG, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RTG to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 296. And it's not only one of our prestigious Patreon poll-winning episodes, but it's arguably the most prestigious Patreon poll-winning episode ever, as we're talking about the game that won our 64-game tournament back in February to get itself an episode of the show here, and that, my friends, is Viewtiful Joe. If you don't know, every month we run a Patreon poll to decide a game to be played and covered here on RTG, and usually it's 8 games or so. But back in February, we ran our inaugural, that sounds right, our first pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza. All month long, Patreons voted, and we whittled that tournament down from 64 games to 1 champion, and Viewtiful Joe came out on top. And I've always wanted to play this game, so I was pretty happy with that result. Now, I've spent a fairly sizable portion of the past 2 or 3 weeks playing Viewtiful Joe on my GameCube. You've probably seen my posts about rage quitting it on social media. If you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or anything, I probably rage quit this game 3 or 4 times, but the hook is that I kept coming back. It's frustrating as fuck, but it's just a brilliant game. If you've never played it, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up from Capcom, but it has this fucking gorgeous comic book cartoony art style that just pops, and you play as this dude named Viewtiful Joe. He's a superhero with these superpowers, and it allows him to either slow everything down, speed everything up, or zoom in just really tight on Joe. And you can mix and match your powers, and the variety it adds to the combat system is insane. You also use it to solve puzzles as you go through the levels and stuff. It's very clever. It's beautiful to look at. It's fun to play. It's also very, very, very fucking difficult. Let me tell you, I tried. I could not beat this game. But we'll get into all that on the show this week. Viewtiful Keegs gave me a call to talk Viewtiful Joe. The audio is a little bit fuzzy. Apologies. Keegs is actually away on holidays right now, so it was a literal phone call, but I think it's listenable. And listening to it is still easier than beating Viewtiful Joe. So we had a great chat about what a special video game this is, where it sits on the GameCube's all-time great game list, and why I couldn't stop playing it despite my seemingly never-ending state of rage. And we'll get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of putting people in a never-ending state of rage, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Listen, here's the thing. Our intros are long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. And you don't need superpowers to fast forward past them. If you do want to skip them, go to about the 30-minute mark. I try to time it as best I can, but I recommend giving the intro a listen. We're just going to talk video games and stuff. It's fun. I do have to get my plugs out of the way. Let me keep the bills on. It'll only take me a couple of minutes. Quick reminder, I will be at GameCon Canada here in Edmonton, just June 14th to 16th, so a month away, a month right now. I'll be at GameCon Canada, the Edmonton Expo Center. It's not just video games, it's board games, it's all kinds of games. It's going to be just nerdy as fuck. I'm looking forward to it. So if you're going to be there, swing by and say hi. We have merchandise, all kinds of stuff, hoodies, coffee mugs, t-shirts, posters. You can find it all at rememberthegamepodcast.com. It was all designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative, the talented son bitch. And of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. You can always check us out on Patreon. All of our episodes are there. You can listen to them on any podcast service you want, including Spotify. And when I say all of them, there are hundreds. Literally, I think it's over 600 bonus podcasts in there now, and we add 4 new ones every week. Monday, Mark McHugh and I talk The Simpsons, on Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Tuesday, I talk about whatever the fuck I want on The Rambling Idiot. I tell comedy stories, talk about sports, movies, TV, whatever I feel like. Every Friday, we look at the biggest news in video games on Game Patch, and every Thursday, it's Expansion Pass, and that's a different gaming show each week. We look back at consoles and video games and franchises and characters. We do ranking episodes. There's modern game reviews. There's a bunch of comedy episodes in there. This past week, it was Expansion Pass 211, and I dropped a full-blown spoiler cast for Season 1 of Fallout on Prime Video. The show is fucking awesome. I highly recommend watching it before listening to that episode, and then come back and go over the show with me and what I liked and didn't like. It was mostly about the Fallout TV series. And despite this being a spoiler cast, I'm going to do my best to keep this spoiler free. As is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, my Fallout spoiler cast. We'll see at the end of this review, but I think it's now my favorite TV video game series. Which I know some of you might be like, how the fuck are you putting this ahead of The Last of Us? I get it. Listen, The Last of Us was spectacular. It was so fucking good. But the thing about The Last of Us is that it basically, it played it safe. It stuck to the script. We got a couple of changes. Those of you that have watched know. But by and large, that show stuck pretty faithful to the original story. So while it was great, and I'd love to watch it again, and I will watch it again, when I'm watching it, I'm like, I kind of know what's coming. I kind of know what's coming as I'm watching this show. Fallout managed to stay pretty faithful to the source material, at least in my opinion, but it told an original story that in this world that so many of us know and love, and I thought that was really, really cool. I'm honestly curious if they had done that with The Last of Us, instead of just putting Joel and Ellie on television, if they had just been like, hey, by the way, we're making a new series in the world of The Last of Us about new people, because there's tons of people surviving in that world, and this is what life has been like for them. Had they done that, would it have been as well received? Conversely, had Fallout just told the story of Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or whatever the fuck, would it have been as well received? I don't know. That's now available in our archives, and this week it's Expansion Pass number 212, and I'm going to try something a little different. Slay the Spire, I'm sure you've heard me talk about it, is the unofficial official game of Remember the Game Industries. I adore that game so much, and about 2 years ago, I kickstarted a board game iteration of it, and it finally arrived last week. So Shaylee and I played it most of the weekend, and so this week on Expansion Pass, I'm going to do my first ever board game review and let you know what I think of the Slay the Spire board game. Should be a good time. So again, subscriptions start at just $3 a month. You get tons of new episodes every week, instant access to literally hundreds of archive bonus podcasts. They're all ad-free. Not only that, but you get access to the Remember the Game Discord. You can vote in our Patreon polls every month. You can write into the shows. You get DM with me. You get discounts on your merchandise. And you even get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons: Kay Laurentino, Jason Sika, Wall-Eyed Grizzly, Norse Goddess, Joshua Lloyd, Eric Pera, Michael Robertson, Virtual X12, Super Seon Sephiroth, Adam Herrera, B-Rad 1978, Alan Johnson, Aqualung, Savage Boosh, Hello Mr. Thompson, I think he's talking to you. Bald Eagle, The Only Sean, Proc Holiday, Rad Gravity, Real Life Vault Boy 111, Chris Big Sandwich, Fresh Gabagool, Scott Whitham, The Mad Challenger, Ezer No, Richard Cheese, I get that, Adam Coates, and Ben Heath. That might be the best round of shoutouts I've ever done. Holy fuck. And thank you all so much for the support. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Don't forget, you can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. We donate 5% of that income to charity, and we offer annual subscriptions, so you'll get your 12th month for free. And finally, you can find me on Twitch whenever I'm over there, twitch.tv/rememberthegame. I try to get on there 2 or 3 times a week, so come by and say hi. All right, that's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you with our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patriots, usually gaming related, but not always, and we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Brandon DeZeba, who said, "Hey there, Hot Dog King. I hope you're having a super duper weekend. Did you ever have any of the Tiger Electronic games growing up? If so, which were some of your faves? I definitely had acquired a collection until I got a Game Boy to satisfy my on-the-go gaming needs. You know what? I don't think I owned one of those growing up. I remember, pardon me. I remember they were so shitty, but we all played them. My friend Mercedes had a Bartman one. I don't know if it was Tiger or not, but it was like that, like the little basic static screen with the little like silhouette images of people. She had a Bartman one, and you were like riding Bart's skateboard downtown, and like Nelson was throwing shit at you, and you were constantly dodging it and attacking him. And I played that thing on the bus every opportunity I had. It was so fucking sick. I remember that one. I remember there being a Mega Man one that somebody had. It was really shitty. I tried it like once and fucking hated it. And then I remember having Sonic. I had like a Sonic one. I don't know if it was Tiger again or not, but I had the Sonic one where you had to collect rings. And growing up, it was the only Sonic game I had because we had no Genesis. So for the longest time, that was all I knew of Sonic. And I thought, these games aren't anywhere near as good as Mario. I still don't think they are, but they are much better than that fucking shitty. Everybody that grew up in that era had played at least one of those shitty Tiger games. They were such garbage. And then you're right, the Game Boy came along and just made them look like crap. But I remember playing a few. I don't remember ever owning one, but I remember seeing advertisements for a Ninja Turtles one. It was green. I remember seeing that in Archie Comics and begging my mom for one. And she was like, "You have a Game Boy." And I was like, "I know, but I don't have a Turtles game for my Game Boy. God damn it." So anyway, yeah, good question. Yeah, man, I'd like to do an episode on those someday, but I feel like that episode would be about 3 minutes long. Dylan Ellsworth said, "Hey, Adam, currently I have my 5-year-old interested in all of the Nintendo 64 games on the Switch. Any recommendations aside from Mario Kart that would be a good intro to keep his interest? Note, he will only use the Pro Controller because it looks cool." No, I don't think he's only using the Pro Controller because it looks cool. I think he's only using the Pro Controller because he doesn't want to use the 64 controller because he's probably like a lot of us where he's looking at him thinking, I don't have 3 hands, which is the right fucking take. What 64 games from the Switch library would I recommend for a 5-year-old outside of Mario Kart? Probably Mario Party. I would think that would I mean, I know some of you are probably saying Mario 64, and sure, I do think Mario 64 is probably a little bit fucky for a kid today compared to what it was like for us when it came out and we didn't know any better. But Mario 64 is up there, and I will say with the Pro Controller, it does play exponentially better. That's my preferred way to play it. But if you were just asking me to pick one, I would say go with the Mario Party games because there's not a lot of complex shit to them. They're really, like, everybody likes Mario Party. So that I would go Mario Party followed by Mario 64 followed by, is Banjo-Kazooie on there? I think it is. Unless I'm wrong. If Banjo-Kazooie's not on there, then just shut my mouth. But otherwise, that's my number 3. But start with Mario Party. Start with Mario Kart, but you've already done that because you're a good parent. Johnny Two Legs said, "I hear you're a fan of tongue twisters. I humbly present one that I still can't get years after coming across it. Bonus points if you don't attempt it before the record." I did attempt it before I started recording. Irish wristwatch. 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 That's not bad. I did practice a little bit, but Irish wristwatch. Toy boat is one too. Try that. Toy boat, 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 toy boat. I do like, it's funny because I can't pronounce words with more than 3 syllables in them, but I love tongue twisters. Phoenix Wrong said, howdily ho, Anderino. During holidays with the family, brother, cousins, whatever, do you guys still have a favorite game you play every time you're together? My brothers and childhood friends, when we get together, always play OG Mario Party or OG Smash. It's become more of a tradition than turkey at Thanksgiving and eggnog at Christmas. You know what? We really don't. It's just my little brother. I have a few cousins, but they all live on the other side of the country, and I'm not really that close with them. We more play board games when we all get together. We're big into playing like euchre or variations of rummy, or there's like this multiplayer like family crib game that we like to play, or we play Joking Hazard. If you haven't played it, it's a fun card game where you make up comics and make each other laugh. It's like Cards Against Humanity or whatever that game's called. But as far as video games, no. Lame answer, but no, we don't. When I go out and see my in-laws, where all the nieces and nephews are, then we usually play either Fortnite or Smash Brothers. But no, I'm trying to think even when we were kids, because we just would always end up fighting. Like, we just so rarely got along. I think the one time Josh and I would get along and play video games together was when we were playing wrestling games as a tag team, like a Revenge or something, and going through as a tag team and just wrecking everybody. Good times. And then even then we'd fight over who gets to pin. Who gets the pin? So it's just, we're just not meant to get along. But that sounds nice. That's beautiful. It's beautiful, Ron. Horace Earl said, hi, hot diggity dog lord. That's a nice No Mercy pull. Diggity dog. I was curious if you have a game that you and your brother played growing up that was so iconic to all of you that you feel only you two remember. My brothers and I were together last weekend and we started talking about Sydney Olympics on the Dreamcast, which was a button-mashing Olympic event type game that we used to love when we were kids. But my guess is literally 1,000 copies total probably still work today. Either way, just curious if you and your brother or anyone else's families have a similar ridiculous game that fits the mold. Thanks as always for the excellent content. You know what game I think of that my brother and I played a lot together that I never hear anyone talk about is Tubin. And I've talked about it on the show before. I'd really like to do an episode about Tubin at some point. If you never played it, it was like I think it was an arcade game, but it was a 10-gen NES game, and you basically just went down a river on an inner tube, and you'd throw cans at like a 45-degree angle to the bottom left or the bottom right. And we would rent that game and play it together constantly. And the other one was Snake, Rattle, and Roll, which we have done an episode about in the archives. Like, we've done other ones like Mario and like Bubble Bobble and stuff like that. But for more obtuse games that I don't think I've ever heard a lot of other, I don't know if I've ever heard anyone else bring up Tubin. And Snake, Rattle, and Roll gets very little love, and it deserves more. So I would say those are the two most obscure games that I have vivid memories of playing with my brother. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. Like, as far as weird, obscure games go. No, those are probably the two. Probably the two weirdest ones we played that nobody else played. Good time. Everybody had that, right? Like that one stupid game that they got for some reason, like as a gift or whatever, back in the NES, Super Nintendo era, and then we just played it over and over. Yeah, good times. Good times. A lot of play with your brother comments this week. Nostalgia said, can I blow in my own cartridge? I just wanted to celebrate a little with y'all. My friends and I hit a milestone with our horror game passion project we're working on. We have a Steam page now. Look it up if you're interested. It's called Home Call. HOMECALL. Nostalgia, there's your plug. I like it. I like seeing people make video games. So I'll show you some love. Check out Home Call on Steam. There's a page up there now. Hot dog approved. KDP says, hey, Adam, love your show and love what you do. Thanks, Katie. How are you finding Kate Sith in Rebirth? I know you hated him before, but how could anyone hate the little guy in Rebirth? The voice alone is enough. It's Yuffie. I could happily yeet off the Junin cannon. You know what? I don't like Kate Sith. I still don't like playing as him in this game. I think he sucks. But I will say yes. Whoever it is that's doing the voice acting for Kate Sith has won me over. Like, it's very hard to. I wish you didn't. I wish like you didn't play as him. I try to use him sometimes, and I think he sucks. But the character himself, the voice acting has won me over. Yuffie, I like Yuffie, but she is the nonstop materia banter. I know that's her thing, but it is a little bit old. I still think Aerith is the most annoying character in Final Fantasy VII. I know some of you are going to be like, what? I don't care. Team Tifa, Aerith drives me fucking crazy. Kate Sith is winning me over with the voice acting. 100%. I'm going to finish that fucking game soon. Mark my words. I'm at like 70 hours, and I've still got like 3 chapters to go. Fucking game never ends. Speaking of things that never end, it's letter time. It's letter time. Sapolsky wrote in and said, "Howdy ho, Mr. Blank. One of my earliest gaming memories was sitting with my mom and watching her play The Legend of Zelda for the NES. She even made it to Ganon, and I remember being so into the game and cheering her on that I was sad when she wasn't able to beat it. Ever since then, The Legend of Zelda has held a very special place in my heart. Were there any games that you watched your parents or another grown-up you knew play that made a certain game more special to you?" The only games, like my dad didn't really, he played a little bit of Dr. Mario, but that's the one. My mom would rent and play Dr. Mario for hours. And like other than that, we could barely get them to touch the NES with us. Once in a great while, they'd play Super Mario Brothers or Duck Hunt with us or something. But every time my mom rented Mario or Dr. Mario, she would play that game for hours. And we would like stand behind her and we would dance like the little viruses and like we'd each call one virus. So then when she killed that virus off, we were eliminated and the last kid standing won. And, man, good time. I don't know why that just stands out of my mind. Good times. The other one is Castlevania. I remember her playing but she sucked. Like, I mean, to be fair, everybody sucks at Castlevania. But I remember her playing a little bit of Castlevania and getting shit kicked pretty hard. But it was Dr. Mario. I have such fond memories of watching her play Dr. Mario. I didn't intend it this way, but a lot of like, hey, do you remember this when you were a kid? Comments this week. Good times. I bet you a lot of you grew up watching. It was so much fun. Anytime an adult would play a video game with me back in the 80s with my NES, it was special. I didn't care what the game was. I was just excited. That's like, I remember my Uncle Brian and I like taking turns playing the original Ninja Turtles. And I was just excited to have somebody playing a game with me that wasn't my brother because he sucked. He was not good. So good times. Anyway, thank you everybody that wrote in this week. As always, let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES. That's another one my brother and I used to play together a lot when we were kids. Classic Concentration, and nobody else seems to know that fucking one. We used to play that a lot too. Huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get there in just a minute. This week we're talking Viewtiful Joe. So I went with 3 Capcom GameCube titles, and that is Killer 7, Resident Evil 0, and Mega Man X Command Mission. And 31%, it was pretty close all around, but 31% said they'd play Killer 7, remake Resident Evil 0, and erase Mega Man X Command Mission. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Wall-Eyed Grizzly said erase Killer 7 because I've went this long without playing it anyways. Sound logic. Play Resident Evil 0 because Resident Evil has too many games being remade already. Sound logic. And then remake Mega Man simply because it's the only option left. I gotta say, Wall-Eyed, I don't agree with your order, but gold star on the logic. All 3 of those made sense. I can get on board with the logic for all 3 of those. Austin Wright said, I'm a diehard Resident Evil fan, and although 0 is one of the series' weakest mainline entries, I still play it because of the interesting inventory and cool train setting at the beginning. So I'll play that one. I'll remake Killer 7 because it was a hidden gem that needs more love, and I'll erase Mega Man. Hasn't the fan base suffered enough? God, haven't we? I know some people like Command Mission, but that's like a Mega Man RPG if you've never heard of it. It's a weird game. I'll tell you what I think of it in a minute. Maverick said Blockbuster logic. I'm going to rent Mega Man. I'm going to remake Resident Evil 0, and I'm deleting Killer 7. I'm going off the cover art alone, and Mega Man looks awesome. Resident Evil 0 looks like it still has shit graphics. And what the fuck is Killer 7? Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I've never played Killer 7, but apparently it's awesome. I'm interested in trying Killer 7. But you are right. Of the box art, it probably is the weakest of the 3. Brandon Osimo said, play Resident Evil 0. I've read good things about it, so why not try it as it is? Remake Mega Man Command Mission. I've been on the hunt for this game for about 6 months now. Could be a little pricey and it doesn't have the best reviews, so why not remake it, fix the issues, and make it affordable? A Mega Man turn-based RPG sounds like a good time to me. And then erase Killer 7. One has to go, and I'd rather try the other 2. Dude, the idea of an RPG Mega Man game sounds great, but I remember I owned that game, and I probably tried it a dozen times, and I don't know, it's just weird. Just weird. And the Super Saiyan, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Super Saiyan Sephiroth Said play Killer 7 because it was a real banger back on the GameCube that just scratches that itch for me. Remake Resident Evil 0 because let's face it, they've remade 2, 3, and 4. Why not 0? Billy and Rebecca were some very underrated characters that deserve a little bit more love. And then Erase Command Mission because I've never played it and being my first time commenting, them's the rules. Thank you for following the rules, Sephiroth. I appreciate you. I'm actually going with the majority this week. I'm going with 31% of you, the leading vote, as did Savage Boosh, who said, I'm going to play Killer 7 because I never have and the art style is interesting. I agree with literally every word of that. Remake Resident Evil 0 because why not? At this rate, they might as well just remake the entire series. And I'm going to Erase Command Mission because everything after X3 sucks the big one. Same logic, similar... or same order, similar logic. I'm going to play Killer 7 because I also haven't, and I do think the art style looks interesting. I think it looks fucking really cool. I want to try that game. So I'm going to play Killer 7. I'm going to remake Resident Evil 0 because you're right. They have basically remade the whole series at this point, and the remakes are all awesome. So why the fuck not? I've always wanted to play through 0. So why not remake it? Why the fuck not? And I'm going to race Mega Man X Command Mission because while I love Mega Man, I love Mega Man X. And this was a time where I wasn't as anti-RPG as I am now. I just could not get into that game. There was something about it. The idea of a Mega Man RPG seemed so cool. And then it just didn't scratch my itch. I don't know why. So I thought about remaking it, but I really like the Resident Evil remakes. And I'm not erasing Killer 7 till I try it. So anyway, that's it. Thank you, everybody that wrote in and played along. As always, I appreciate you. What have I been playing over the last, I guess, 2 weeks? It's been 2 weeks since we did one of these. A lot of Viewtiful Joe, which you're about to hear about. Good times. I've been playing X-Men 2 Clone Wars on the Sega Genesis, which won another one of our Patreon polls, and I think it won March's poll. And that's going to be next week's episode. Buddy, that game is fucking awesome. That is a top 5 Genesis game for me now. I'm really looking forward to reviewing that next week. I'm still plugging away at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't think it ever ends. And I'm still playing Balatro. That game's pretty dope. Play it. If you haven't played it yet, play it. That game's and I've started playing Fallout 3, but very, very casually. Eventually you're getting a Fallout episode. I just don't know when. So good times, good time. Man, lots of games. I'm loving video games right now. And there's still so many games this year I want to play. I still want to play Princess Peach Showtime. I still want to play the South Park game. I'm interested in Stellar Blade. So many games right now. Anyway, here's what's going to happen. I need to buy those games. To buy those games, I need money, and money comes from sponsors. So we're going to take a quick break here. We'll let a sponsor peddle their wares, and then when I'm back, it's all Viewtiful Joe, okay? We'll be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have 2 goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's get into Viewtiful Joe talk. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the airwaves. So let's see what a few of you had to say about Viewtiful Joe. Sleeper Hit said the fundamentals of this game make it one of the best beat-em-ups in this age of gaming. Using your skills of dodging and slowing the game down with V-arts to attack enemies made it an enjoyable experience. I'll argue it's not just one of the beat-em-ups from that age. It's one of the best beat-em-ups ever. I'll straight up call it one of the best beat-em-ups of all time. It's a little button mashy for my taste, but we'll get into it. Doug Walsh said, I'm so glad this game is getting the attention it deserves. I knew nothing about it when asked to author the official strategy guide years ago, and it quickly became one of my favorite projects ever. Earning Rainbow V rank on every level, including the sequel, is sure to go down as one of my greatest gaming achievements in 40 plus years of gaming. No way in hell I could do that again now. Yeah, that is pretty impressive. I think if I had played it more back when it came out, I might have had more patience for it. But now I just oh my God, what an infuriating game sometimes. I'm Rumi. Said, this is one of the biggest GameCube games of my childhood, and I couldn't wait for you to review it on the show. Although I will admit I never beat it as a kid or now. It is amazing and needs to be ported to the Switch. This is one of the few games I got in the beginning of my GameCube collection back when I didn't have a memory card, so the struggle was real. I hope you enjoyed it, Mr. Blank. I could not do this game without a memory card. No way. Fuck that. I would fucking go collect empty cans until you have enough money to buy a memory card before you play Viewtiful Joe. I agree. It does need to be ported to the Switch. Kareem the Dream said, I'm so beyond happy this was the game that won the vote because it was my childhood. Now, that being said, I'm certain I didn't make it far into the game as a kid. Having played it as an adult, I assume it's just a little too difficult for my kid brain. Regardless, this game just oozes early 2000s, and that's exactly what I love about it. Agreed. It's part of that era. The early 2000s where we were really making the transition into full-blown that GameCube, PS2, Xbox generation. This game screams that generation. Something about it. Well said, Kareem. And Jean-Francois Misson said, when it won the February poll, I bought it. I bought it to try it, not knowing what it was. After 3 hours of gameplay without seeing a save point, I gave up. The game looks gorgeous, but it's way too difficult for me. I'm sick of starting over again and again and again. I do think the checkpoint and save system's a little bit wonky, as wonky as my eye. And that's one of the few criticisms I have of this game, and you're about to hear about it. It's time to talk Viewtiful Joe, everybody. I am going to cue up some of the superb music from this game. There it is. And when it stops, my boy Keegs and I are talking Viewtiful Joe, which originally released on the Nintendo GameCube in North America on October 7th of 2003. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go, baby. I guess it's henshin a go, baby, but I say let's go. So shut up. Enjoy the podcast. All right, joining me, I feel like this one has been a long time coming, but joining me via the blank phone this week, literally we are doing this one over the phone, so the audio sounds a little bit like old school, remember the game? It's because it is a little bit old school. Is my buddy Keegs. Before we get into the game, Keegs, the obligatory, how are you today? How's life?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just out here on scene in Vancouver to infiltrate EA's headquarters and ask them what the fuck.
On scene. I love you. Like a field reporter. I am on scene here at EA. Did they let you in, or did they say it's $4.99 to open the door?
Yeah, $4.99 to open the door with there was a little asterisk, and then they gave me a pamphlet that explained it, and I was like, I can't read, and I certainly can't read this much, so I was out of there pretty quick.
Fucking EA. Do you remember, like, you are younger than me, but you're not that much younger than me. Do you remember when EA was cool? There was a time where EA was cool.
EA Sports.
Yeah.
It's in the game. Yeah, like, EA was great. Like,
we all liked them. They I don't know. I don't want to say they sold out because I sold out, but they sold out harder than I fucking did.
I don't know, generic corporate greed, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. And that okay, well now that's our segue into this week's episode because we are talking a Capcom game, and I have to say, dude, outside of like Nintendo and probably maybe Naughty Dog, I think Capcom is my favorite game studio, and I sure hope they never go full blown EA.
Yeah, I mean, they just posted that, like, they've got profits up and they're paying people better and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're doing the opposite that everybody else is doing right now.
Yeah.
They're just having a fantastic year, and the good is staying within the Capcom ecosystem.
Yeah, on paper, they're doing everything right. The only thing Capcom is doing wrong is not releasing more Mega Man games. But nobody's perfect. And I can officially say...
Well, I'm pretty close.
What's that?
I said I'm pretty close to perfect.
Wow, but you've never released a fucking Mega Man game either. So until I get a Mega Man
you got
game,
me there.
Yeah, until someone gives me a Mega Man game, there's no perfect scores. Shaylee, I have been with Shaylee for 16 some years, and I've never given her a perfect score on anything she's ever done. And when she always asks why, I'm like, it's because you've never given me a Mega Man game. You've done some great things, but no Mega Man. So, now on the note of Mega Man though, and Capcom, this week we're talking Viewtiful Joe. And this man clearly looks like Proto Man's cousin or something. I have wanted to play these games, the Viewtiful Joe games, since they came out. Because I remember the Capcom 5 back in the early 2000s. And Capcom was making a bunch of games for the GameCube. And some of them came out and some of them didn't. And I think most, probably not all, someone will write in and argue with me. But if you don't know, the Capcom 5 were Viewtiful Joe, Piano 3, Dead Phoenix that never came out, Killer 7, which apparently is good, and then Resident Evil 4. I would assume that if you polled like the entire gaming world, most would say that Resident Evil 4 is the standout of that class.
Yeah.
Which as it is one of the greatest video games ever made. Yeah, one of the greatest video games ever made.
I've never played it, and I wouldn't argue with that.
Oh, buddy, you got to play it. It's so good.
I'm too much of a scared little bitch. You know that.
That's fair. It's not that scary, though. It's not as scary as the other ones. But I had never played Viewtiful Joe, and I remember it getting great reviews when it came out. I've always thought the art style and everything looked dope. I didn't really know what it was. And then it won our inaugural pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza. It won the first ever 64-game tournament we've ever done. And I was stoked because this is one of the ones I was pulling for. And I have spent the last 2 weeks playing this game, and Keegs, I have to say, I don't think Angry Adam is going to show up in this episode because I'm not angry at the game, but while I was playing this game, Angry Adam had a fucking residency in my office.
Oh, yeah.
What? And before anyone freaks out, I'm not going to shit on it. I mean, I'm going to shit on a couple of small things. I really like this game. It's going to get a great review. I would put it in my top 10 GameCube games now for sure. But my God, dude, I don't know if I just suck, but like this is a fucking hard. I did not expect the difficulty that came with Viewtiful Joe. No idea.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Because it doesn't look, it looks like a kid's game. Like on the cover.
Yeah. Like I rented it when it was a kid because it was just colorful and like comic looking. Like it was one of those games where, you know, you couldn't, like back in the day when you had to just base it based off what the cover art looked like.
Yeah.
This probably did really good just on its cover art alone.
Sure.
And then there also happened to be a fantastic game underneath.
Sure. But I get home, like I bought this thing. I was super stoked. I went out and bought a physical copy. I played it on my GameCube. I fired it up, and right away there's 2 difficulty modes, and it's I really liked the humor. Kids, and they're like bright, colorful letters, or adults, and it looks like something from like the red light district. And,
the neon pink sign.
Yeah, which I thought was really like good start. Good, I like that a lot. And I had a lot of people in the community be like, you should probably start on kids. And I'm not normally the type of guy that cares what difficulty I play on. Like I usually just play default normal. Are you a guy that goes and looks like, by and large, when you fire up a game, are you looking for like hard mode right away or anything, or are you just playing on normal?
I usually go with normal, especially these days. Just it's even if it's something I really like, it's just like I'd rather just have some fun. Like if it's a game where you can change the difficulty while you're playing too, like that's the best.
Sure.
Because then I start normal. If I can bump it up, I bump it up. But normal.
Yeah.
I'm too old to throw my controller through the wall.
Agreed, dude. As one of our Patreons calls himself, too old for hard mode. Like, I don't often look for hard mode, but I have to say the idea of going kids and adults worked, because I fired this up not knowing what I was getting myself into, and I was like, well, I'm not playing this on kids. I was like, I'm an adult. I'm 40. I can handle this. I put it on adults, and I spent 2 weeks trying to beat the 7 levels that this game consists of. And I want you all to know, because someone shit on me once on social media and said, you don't finish all the games you review. And I'm like, no, I don't. Go fuck yourself. Like, I can't. But I tried, to quote Otto, like, oh, Lord, how I did try to beat this game. And I can't do it. I don't know. I can't, like, I've watched the ending. I see how it ends. We're going to get into all that. But I honestly, like, most of the time, once I record the episode, I'm like, all right, it's on to the next game. I can't decide if I'm going to come back to this one or not, because my beard is easily 20% grayer than it was when I started playing it. And every time I die a bunch, I rage quit it. I shut it off. I think I've tweeted 3 times that I'm done. 3 different times I've tweeted that I've rage quit this game and I'm done. But then I just keep coming back. There's something about it that just has its fucking claws into me. Have you beaten this fucking game?
I have not. I did once, like way back on when I had it on my GameCube, because I was playing it through less than legal means this time for a replay, and couldn't beat it. But I have beaten it once, but only ever on kids.
Okay, now
and it was a fucking struggle,
buddy.
Like,
and I've had people message me and be like, it's not that hard, and I'm like, I have to just say, like, message me whatever the fuck you want, but, like, I hate that. Because I'm like, some people are like, oh, man, 200cc Mario Kart is hard. I'm like, it's really not that bad. Some people are like, oh, I can't win at Tetris 99. I'm like, it's not that hard. Everybody finds different things hard. I don't give a fuck. A vast majority of you wrote in and agreed with me. This game is fucking hard. Now, I will say, after 2 weeks of playing it on adults, I fired up kids mode a couple of days ago just because I wanted some context for this podcast, and I got to level 5 without dying once.
Yeah,
it
definitely it's very rewarding for like brushing up on your skills and polishing them.
Oh, buddy,
like
especially
like diving into adult, like you're gonna get your shit wrecked for a lot, but like you really do improve every time you play it.
You do.
That's Capcom's really good at doing it, right? Like they did that with Mega Man. They do it again with Viewtiful Joe. It's all patterns and practice.
Yeah, it is. And you're right, because I streamed it once, and I lost my fucking mind. It was like, I'm not streaming this ever again. Because, like, Angry Adam, like, I went Incredible Hulk Angry Adam with this, and I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. But then the more I played it offline, and I really did start to get a feel for it, when I went into kids mode finally, like, I knew the base. If you know the basics, then you can start shit kicking. And it does start to put up a fight at kids as well, but you can shit kick this game pretty good. I have to say, I've watched some people online play it at like a high level, and it's pretty impressive. Like what some people can do with this game on like the like unlockable extra difficulties is pretty sick. Like it's very much, it's not a cheap game, and I don't mean cheap in cost. I mean cheap in like bullshit. Like it's, if you're good, you'll win. And if you're not good, if you're not good, you will not win. There is no, but I just held on and managed to get through. Like, you will not beat this game if you don't get good.
There's like none of the bosses I found are cheap, or none of the enemies. There's just a couple of just certain enemy types in certain placements.
Yeah.
And it's very few and far between, where it's just like, okay, this is kind of like, what the fuck, you guys?
Yeah. So I agree with that. So we'll set the table. We'll explain what the game is for anyone that hasn't played it. Then I'll get into, I do have a couple of criticisms. This game is not perfect. And then we'll do the break. And then when we get back from the break, we'll both just suck that Viewtiful Joe dick, because there's a lot of good to hear. If you've never played it, basically it's a beat 'em up. It's got a little, I think, I'm not a Devil May Cry veteran, but it's got a little Devil May Cry in it. Like, it's a lot of button mashing, left to right, beat people up, try to get style points and win as fast as you can. And you play as this dude named Joe who loves movies. And then right at the beginning of the game, his, like, I still don't quite understand what the plot is, but basically, like, his girlfriend gets, like, sucked into the movie, and then he has to go into the movie to get her back.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. Why the fuck not? And then once he gets into the movie, he starts running into this character named Captain Blue, who's like his hero, who starts giving him superpowers because he turns into Viewtiful Joe. And the long and short of it is your superpowers, and after a couple of levels, you've unlocked all 3 powers. Your left trigger, if you hold it down, you will slow everything down to a crawl. The right trigger, if you hold it down, will speed everything up like 2 times. And then either the C stick or the B button zooms everything in. And you can combine. You can't combine slow and fast, but you can zoom in and then play it in slow, or zoom in and then play it in fast. And that's the basic gist of it. And you just go level to level, beating up enemies, fighting bosses. They do implement some puzzle solving with the speeding up, slowing down, and the zooming. For my money, mixed effect. Some of the puzzles are pretty clever, and some of them are fucking stupid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a couple that are just like, man, I see what you're trying to do, but like, fuck, you sure made it difficult to try and get there.
Some of them fucking made me so angry, which we'll get to. And that's basically it. And then, like I say, the levels are like movies, and as you like an episode or like of a movie or of a TV show or whatever the fuck. And as you beat the levels, you beat up the bosses, then you go to the next levels. While you're playing, you're unlocking V-Bucks or V-Points or whatever the fuck they're called, which you can use to upgrade your either upgrade your health or unlock new abilities between levels and stuff like that. And that's the gist of it. And if you're thinking like, well, that doesn't sound all that impressive, I think really most people would agree. The meat on the bone in this game, I would argue there's 2, and that's the graphics and the combat. But the combat, to me, really is the game's bread and butter. Like, it is so... I don't normally... Like, I don't love Devil May Cry. Are you a Devil May Cry guy?
I've dabbled here and there. Like, I played the original trilogy back in the PS2, and then I picked up the HD collection and tried to get back into it. And fell into that same, like, oh, no, this is better in my memories. It's aged like a glass of milk for my current taste.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But I liked 4. I played 4. I haven't played any other ones since, but 4 was fun.
Okay.
But they're not my, I like playing them, but I'm not good at doing the combos and stuff. So it's one of those, it's fun to play a little bit, but I can never get into it because I just don't have the patience to get good enough at those kinds of games.
My thing with these types of games has always been, and like people got really mad at me on the Devil May Cry episode when I called it this, and I meant, like, I don't mean it as like a diss, and I'm gonna stick with this. Like, these types of games, like they're kind of like button mashers. Like, you're just going through mashing attack and like the difference is that, like, I love like classic Ninja Turtles games, but those beat 'em ups, like a lot of them are button mashing beat 'em ups, like, and they get old after a while. At least something like Devil May Cry throws in the whole concept of like style and, you know, flashy combos and stuff like that, and Viewtiful Joe does that as well, but takes it to another level with the slowing down and the speeding up and the zooming in. And normally these games aren't my jam either, because I have no patience for the combos and I get bored of just mashing buttons and beating stuff up. But there was something about this, and I think it was that speed up, slow down, and zoom in mechanic that just kept me coming back. I never went for style points and tried to get, like, because it gives you a score of like, you are beautiful, you are awesome, you are bad, or you are crappy. I got a lot of crappy. Like, I was crappy. But there was something, I think it's that speed up and slow down. It's just, it's really, really, frankly, I think I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. I don't think the game does a great job of teaching you what exactly those things can do with their little mini tutorial boss fights. But once you start really fucking around with it and figuring it out, like, it's really impressive. In particular, the slowdown. I think the slowdown matrix thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's just really simple mechanics, just incredibly polished.
Yeah,
is how it works. Where it's just like, so like on kids, you can basically button mash your way through most of the game, but then you have to start working on, you know, doing some combos, combining your speed up powers and stuff like that. But it's still just like, it's simple to start learning, but like the ceiling for mastering that game is crazy.
Yeah, and it like, I think what threw me off was that, so in the first level, you get to, and I'm going to get some shit wrong and everyone's going to yell at me, but you start out as like just Joe. You're not even Viewtiful Joe. You're just little kind of pudgy. He's kind of built like me, actually, Joe. And then
Yep.
you fight Captain Blue, and then you get the V-Watch or whatever, and now you can become Viewtiful Joe. And then there's like a meter at the top of the screen, and at first all you can do is slow stuff down by holding the left trigger. And as you slow stuff down, that meter at the top of the screen drains. But while it's draining, everything is in slow motion. So like you can dodge attacks in slow motion, you can wail on bad guys in slow motion, all that kind of stuff. And then like I got that, and then I fought the first boss with it, and then you fight that first robot cowboy with like the 2 pistols, you know? And one thing that maybe I just wasn't paying attention when I played through it, but like I never caught on to the if you don't slow down and the cowboy shoots his bullets, it's almost guaranteed to hit you because you can't even see the bullets. Like it's like a real life bullet. But if you slow time down when he shoots his bullets, then the bullets come out and they drift across the screen in slow mo, and you can actually punch or kick the bullets and send them back at the boss. And that was what threw me off. Was I don't think it did a very good job of I didn't realize at first that I could actually reflect the bullets. I thought I was just using slow to dodge them.
Yeah. So I think it might say it in the instruction manual, but it's once again I didn't read the instruction manual.
Right.
Like when I never owned this game, I only ever rented it, and Cold Lake, those fucking games didn't come with instruction manuals.
No,
you ripped them all out and ripped them all up.
Yeah, my physical copy I have now didn't have an instruction manual. So, I didn't. Once I realized that, then it became, because like I'm trying to fight this fucking cowboy boss, and I'm coming to the realization that like I can't even hit him unless I slow him down and I get near him, and then I can hit him for a few times before he jumps away. But I'm spending 3/4 of the fight using my slow-mo to dodge his bullets, and then if I'm lucky, I'm punching him once or twice before he dives away. And then eventually it clicked. I think I accidentally punched a bullet and sent it back at him, and I'm like, oh. And so now that's like so many bosses in this game rely on that mechanic. Like when you fight the giant tank and it shoots the big shells at you, and like you just slow time down, punch the shell back, and it goes back and explodes and kills the tank in like 2 hits. And like that's what it's expecting you to do. And so I was really mad at it at first because I was like, do I just suck at this? Why can't I hit the boss? And then I realized like, oh, it wants me to slow down, punch its bullets back at him, slow down right as he lands so I can get 4 or 5 attacks in instead of 1 before he jumps away. It takes a lot of practice. I found I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think you kind of alluded to this too. The learning curve to this game is incredibly steep. Like it is not, it's not pick it up, mash buttons, play through. Like it is expecting
and you learn it by just like trying stuff and seeing like how it goes. Like another thing on the bullets that I didn't learn for a while when I was playing is like, you slow down time and then you punch the bullet and like the tank shells and stuff, but also you slow down time to make explosions bigger.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's so many extra layers to just like every one of your powers too. Like your speed up, like if you hit enough stuff while you're speeding up, then Joe gets like a fiery glow around him, and then he won't take damage from fire.
Totally. Yeah, I didn't.
And I think it actually boosts his attack power too. Like it makes him do more damage if you have like the Mach speed flame around you.
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's so many cool little things in there that you just discover by just playing the game.
Yeah, I struggled. I didn't realize that slowing down like explosions does more damage. And then there's a lot of puzzles too. Like there's the one in the city where you need to ride the bus across the like collapsed street, and the bus has rockets on the back, and the key is to get on the bus, then slow time down, because then it gives it more time to let the rocket like, and then finally it explodes and sends the bus flying. But I didn't get that at first. And I feel like it's got like it tries to introduce the slow motion thing by like you fight that first boss and then the slot machine falls and you need to slow it down to hit the slots at the right time and stuff. But I don't think it does a great job showing you like this is what all it can do with the environment and things. And I know we all complain about in-game tutorials being too complex now and stuff. I get that. But there's also a time and place, and this one I felt like could have actually used a little bit more. Maybe just like once I got it, I was fine with it, but it took me a long time to figure this fucking game out.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit frustrating. I want to get the negatives out of the way so we can come back from the break and just be happy. I gotta say, I'll hear an argument that maybe you don't want a checkpoint like every 3 seconds. I'll hear that. But this game's checkpoint system is fucked.
Yeah,
Like,
they are very few and far between.
Holy Jesus, buddy. I'm like, and you can't save. Like, there's so many opportunities where I can't, and I wasn't able to save. And then I have to turn the game off eventually because I'm like, I've been playing for 45 minutes and I can't get to the next place where I can save. So then I eventually have to turn it off. And now the next time I fire it up, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. Now I got to hike back there again. And that was where Angry Adam came out in this game, was I would get to something, usually a boss, that would fucking kill me. And then I didn't get a chance to save it. And then I would turn it off and then I'd have to turn it on and walk through the whole fucking level again. Oh,
yeah,
the
the two different kinds of checkpoints was kind of weird. Where just like, and there's like didn't seem to be rhyme or reason to it. Where sometimes you could shop and save and power up, and then sometimes you couldn't. You just let's go.
Yeah,
Joe must go on.
Yeah, and I found that to be like, I've talked about this before, and I'm not saying Viewtiful Joe is a Souls game, but like people have been on me to play the Souls games, and I'm like, I really genuinely don't enjoy boss fights for the most part. I just find them tedious and frustrating and annoying. And I also hate it when every time I die, I need to hike back to the boss to get another shot. And I know some of you like that, and it's all good. And if you want to make fun of me for being a pussy and being not good at games, I am a pussy and I'm not good. My Let's Play series is called Adam Sucks at Video Games for a fucking reason. But
yeah.
the problem is So, like, say I get to a boss. Like, the fucking dude, when you fight yourself, another Joe, that guy, I was stuck on that guy for 3 days.
Yeah.
And that fight goes forever on adults because I could never get close enough. Like, I could hit him a few times, and then he'd get away. I'd hit him a few times, he'd get away. So then after, like, 15, 20 minutes, then I would die. Then eventually I'd run out of lives. Then I'd have to go back, play through the fucking level again to get more shots at this long boss fight. That's where I lose my fucking patience. Fuck me, dude. Like, that's where I get angry.
Because then the alternative is you can buy the LIV, but once again, you don't always get access to a shop, and it's a one and done, and it's expensive. It's 10,000 credits or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. If you
which
never
is like, if you're good at the game and you do all those combos and stuff, like, yeah, you can grab 10,000 pretty easy. But it's like that's also like a whole new ability.
Sure.
Or like it's a lot to put into something that you're gonna lose.
Yeah, like if you've never played it, the item Keys is talking about, it's basically like a auto continue, so that like when you die, you basically pick up right where you died. But it's a one.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, but it's not a permanent item. It's a one and done. And so if you I don't know about any of you, that fucking. We'll get into the bosses, but that fucking another Joe fight fucked me up for days.
Oh, yeah.
And so even if I bought one of those things, I'm like, well, then I'm just going to die an extra couple of times and then have to fucking go back. I found it so infuriating. So I think, and truth be told, buddy, like, that's where I'm torn on if I'm going to go back and try to finish this game after this episode's recorded. Because I genuinely enjoy it, but by the time I finish a session of it, more often than not, I'm just fucking pissed off. Like, it is a fucking vicious video game. And those fucking checkpoints. Fuck. I was
going through it at a pretty good clip for my replay there on kids. Like, one shot on every boss, like one try, keep going, nothing, no dying, and then I got to another Joe, and he just fed me my lunch the first 2 times as I was like steamrolled the game up to that point.
Yeah.
And then he just fed me my lunch, and then finally got him, and then the next box did the same thing, like got to him no problem. And then just kept feeding my lunch. Like, I got to him, like, 10 times. And then I was just like, nope, controller's about to go through the wall. Time to take a break. We're done. And tried again another time. Same thing. I'm like, man, this is the easy difficulty. What the fuck? I'm just like, I'm getting frustrated. And I'm just like, I just trying to, like, rush and trying to beat it. I'm like, nah, whatever. I got to just sit down, take my time with this. And it's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that would make me fucking crazy too. Fuck, now I lost my train of thought. What was I talking? Oh yeah, was just that like I would get it's just sorry, I did lose my train of thought. But like I would get so close. I would get so close to beating these enemies over and over again, and then die. And then after these bosses, and then have to hike back to them. And some of the levels are fucking like these are not short fucking levels. And then, oh my God, dude. And it was just, I understand what drove me fucking crazy, especially like that Another Joe fight, is that like there's instances where I'm basically just waiting for him to do, or not just him, but like when you fight the crocodile or when you fight the, I guess there's two crocodiles. No, the rhino.
The rhino?
The rhino. Like,
oh, my boy. I love him.
Like there's just instances where you're like, I hate that I have to basically wait for you to do something to open the door for me to hit you. And again, I know that's normal in like Souls and all that. That's why I don't play those games, because I don't have the patience for those fucking games. Like, and that really, really wore on my patience, man. Fuck me. Oh,
like, yes, I get what you want me to do, game, but I don't want to do that. I want to just go pound his face in.
Yes, and that I remember now. The other thing was every time you beat a level, you go to the next level, but your fucking meter, as you're playing through the game, you collect these things like coins in a Mario game, and every time you collect 50, you make your meter bigger that you can use to slow things down or speed things up. And so, like, if you play through a whole level, by the time you get to the boss, sometimes you've got this giant meter, and so you can slow shit down for like a minute and a half. But then every time you beat a level, it goes back to scratch. And so I got to level 5 when I finally got through Another Joe. And that's the one where you're fighting all the tanks and helicopters in the streets. And I have no meter because I haven't picked up enough chip thingies to increase it yet. So, like, I'm trying to fight this fucking tank, and I see that you want me to slow time down and punch the bullets and send them back at him. But I've only got 3 seconds, so I need to time it perfectly, or else I'd run out of fucking slow, and now I have to wait again anyways. Like,
it's not too bad in the earlier levels, but yeah, some of the later levels having to restart from square zero with no VFX meter is a little rough because the earlier levels, you know, they give you some easier stuff, like maybe they're introducing a new enemy type or something like that. So you know, you got some time where you can have some practice and get going, and then those later levels, it's like, okay, you just beat the boss. Okay, well, you're not getting a chance to breathe. We're just full send right into getting fucked in the next level.
Yeah, it's just
but also enjoy being half as strong.
Very aggravating at times. Now, listen, I know that we've been really hard on this game, but like, I really, really like this game. I wanted to get some gripes out of the way because I have spent weeks just taking it in the back door from this fucking game, and I got it out of my system. I feel better now. Do you have anything else you want to really get mad about before we go to a break and then come back and then praise it? Because there's a lot of good here, a lot of good.
Not really. Like, it's the stuff that makes me mad doesn't even make me mad, because it keeps fucking bringing me back.
I know, me too.
So it's clearly not that. Like, it's frustrating as all hell, but then, like, you're just like, I gotta go back.
I know, and that's where, like, I have to give it credit, because I'm like, I have rage quit. I have rage quit many games that haven't made me as angry as Viewtiful Joe has. But I never rage quit this. I mean, I rage quit like 100 times, but I kept coming back. So let's speaking of coming back, let's go out here. We'll let a sponsor come in, and then when we come back, it's all good. I got a lot of nice things to say about this game. So we'll be right back after this. All right. Okay. Now it's time to be nice to Viewtiful Joe. I don't even know if we've really talked about it yet. We'll get into the combat again and stuff, but like, buddy, this is not just from the GameCube era. This is just genuinely one of the best looking video games I think I've ever played.
Oh yeah, like some of the best cell shading I've ever seen.
Gorgeous.
Like it's the cell shading and like the old film effects and everything. Like, just there is not a single pixel that isn't stylish in this game.
It's
every
sexy.
Single thing is stylish. Like, it's wild.
It really does look like playing a comic book or like a movie like that. And like you said, it's not, I think one of the things that really pops to me is how the characters, both Viewtiful Joe and the enemies, look really detailed, and they get up closer to the screen. And I love that, like, those green guys that fly and drop the missiles on you, like, they'll fly and actually come closer to the screen and then fly out and go back into the background and stuff. I think that is really cool. But it's not just that. It is the backgrounds. Like, a lot of games, God, I love Mario. I fucking love Mario. But even like some Mario games, you look at the backgrounds and it's like, all right, well, that's kind of just plain. Like, it's just a sky in the distance and whatever the fuck. This game, like, you're going through these cities or going through these sewers, or you're in these old buildings or in the office building or whatever the fuck. And it just, everything looks so perfectly detailed and animated. And it's just, I'm in genuine awe I'm not a graphics guy. Like, if a game looks nice, that's great, but I don't make it fun first. I am genuinely in awe of how good this game looks. It is.
Yeah.
I think it's the best looking GameCube game I've ever played. And that says something because the GameCube's got some good looking games on it.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably got to be up there for me too, without thinking too hard about everything else on there. It's like without even thinking, top 3.
Yeah, just gorgeous. And then when you factor in the slowdown and the way that it doesn't chop, I can't speak to how it runs on the PS2. I'm only speaking to the GameCube version. But
the PS2 runs fantastically. It is regarded as one of the best like console ports like of that generation.
Good.
Especially it being like I think because you said the Capcom 5, right? So like it was specifically designed from the ground up to only be for GameCube. And then, them porting it over the PS2, still, like, it feels exactly the same. The only criticism I have of the PS2 version is it's on the controller.
Yeah.
Because of just how tight the gameplay is, you want those buttons nice and tight like the GameCube controller. And that's a pretty thin criticism.
Sure, no question. And, like, I like the PS2 controller. I think the GameCube controller is magical. The shoulder buttons on a GameCube controller are the 2 most comfortable buttons you will ever push on any controller ever. Like, I love those shoulder buttons. But I agree, though, dude. I was shocked at, like, the only time the game chugs or slows down is when you put it in slow-mo. And then it still doesn't chug or slow down. Like, it's hard to explain that it's in slow-mo. It should be going slow. And it is, but, like, it doesn't look or feel sluggish at all. It just feels like a very smooth game.
However they programmed it, like there's some kind of programming wizardry that went on in making that game work how it does.
Totally.
Especially like with the changing camera angles during the different speeds and stuff, and like the game is still taking place just the same, all in that background.
Absolutely.
And, like they are legitimately just zooming that camera in, and then the game's still playing like out of your vision and stuff. Like, constantly in some levels, I'm constantly in slow-mo and zooming in and out to just constantly see what's going on around me.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that kept me coming back was that, like, as angry as I was getting at this fucking game at times, I was like, boy, I genuinely just really enjoy looking at this fucking game. And the slow-mo thing is nice. The speed-up thing, I don't lie to you, like, I didn't use the go fast as much, other than when I was up against, like, weak enemies, and I would just, like, speed bag my way through them. But even then, when you speed it up, it doesn't look cheesy or cheap. It doesn't look half-assed. He looks like he's just doing everything at a faster speed. I like that as you're moving in at super fast speed, eventually you light on fire, and then you can light enemies on fire. I thought that looked really cool. And then to me, what's really...
then as you power it up, you can get, like, other, like, copies of Joe that'll, like, fly around the screen while you're doing the mock speed, too. Like,
really
so
dope.
Cool.
And then
you have to use that to, like, hit some stuff that's in the background sometimes. Like, there's some boxes that you can't reach because they're in the background. Like, that's how you do it, is you find an enemy, you go mock speed and punch them, and then one of your Joe copies goes and hits the box in the background. Like,
see, now I thought that was
stylish.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, but that did infuriate me at times because I would be like, I see the box back there, and I really need it, and I'm using speed, and I'm punching enemies in front of the box, and... where the fuck is my clone? Like, sometimes I could not get those fucking boxes. But I think that's more of just I suck than anything.
And the thing is, they're pretty few and far between of those boxes happening. Like, there's never, like, it's going to make or break a run if you can't get one of those boxes with some extra VFX or a hamburger.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is a little frustrating that sometimes it's like, okay, well, I've killed 3 enemies lined up with this box with the mock speed, and my copy isn't hitting the box. Like, what gives you?
And it's what it frustrates me is when I'm like, I really need some health, and there's probably health in that box, and I cannot fucking get it to save my goddamn life. Going back to the slowing down though, and how good this game looks, I thought what made it even cooler though was when you combine, especially the slowdown with zooming in, which is the last ability you get. So then you can zoom in. So then you'll get an enemy like right up. You'll be right up on Viewtiful Joe's ass. Then you slow the game down. And then if you start mashing kick, he does this like spinning in a circle in midair. Like, it looks like, I don't know. It's like watching someone do like karate in slow-mo. Yeah. And that was my favorite move in the game, was to get against the boss or somebody and get them in a position where they're vulnerable, then hold the slowdown and go into that slow motion spin kick and just unload on them. And that was the most satisfying thing in the game for me.
Yeah, that and then the slow-mo zoom-in punch, those are, like, top tier, like, just, like, mechanically, the strongest moves in the game, but they're also just, like, super fun to watch, too.
Yeah,
and just visually impressive.
And then, like, it does cool things, too, where, like, you can do the slow-mo thing, and it's frustrating because I'm not trying to dodge a bullet, I'm trying to punch it back. But at least if I accidentally go to where I would be hit by a bullet and I'm in slow-mo, instead of it hitting me, he does the, like, Matrix fucking lean backwards thing, and it goes past. At least it looks dope. Like, it's frustrating because usually by the time that animation's done, my slow motion meter is empty, and now I'm stuck with my pants down for 5 seconds. But at least it looks
that's
cool.
where you got to use the Ukemi ability. There is so he dodges that bullet like that, and then you hit zoom in once you buy the ability, and then it just does a screen clear of damage.
Right.
And he does, like, the cool pose. Like, it's just such a cool game.
Yeah, it really is. The combat is fun. The puzzles. The one somewhat minor criticism I guess I have for the graphics. I don't know about you. I found it looked awesome when you would turn a corner, because it's basically a 2D game that would almost transition into 3D for just a few seconds while you went around a corner and then go back to 2D. But it frustrated me when it did that while I was fighting. Because then sometimes it would kind of almost like it zoomed in a bit, like, and then I couldn't find the enemy I was fighting. But that didn't happen too often. It just was a little bit irritating. The puzzles, when the puzzles in this game are good, they're great. Like, there's an early one where you get slow-mo, and then there's a switch on the floor, and there's a pipe dripping water on it, and you realize, well, if I hold slow-mo, then instead of it dropping a little drop of water, this drop of water grows to, like, the size of a hot air balloon, and then it falls on the switch and triggers the switch. When it does shit like that, I think that is very, very cool.
And then they do that exact same puzzle later on, the level after you fight another Joe, and it is the worst fucking puzzle. Because what it is it's a room that's full of lava, and the lava level can go up and down, to make it go up, you have to use Mach speed, but then you're using slow-mo to make the water drop, and slow-mo also makes the lava drop a little bit, just slightly faster than it's normally dropping. But then you can't see the lava, and you have to do, like, 6 or 7 droplets all in a row of trying to get the droplet big. It drops and makes a rock for you to stand on the lava. And so you're just constantly having to use Mach speed to speed it back up, and it's just fuck that puzzle.
Yeah, and
it's like you took a really cool way to do a puzzle, and you made me do it too much.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, your meter at the top is constantly draining. So you're like, okay, speed it up, get the lava up high. Now stop for a second, let my meter fill up a bit. Now slow it down and let the water drop grow so it'll land and form a platform. Jump on the platform, speed it up again to get the lava up. I liked it. By and large, I thought the way it implemented the speed and stuff to the puzzles was very clever. There was just the occasional one where, like, I don't know about you, dude. Like, so left trigger is slow down, right trigger is speed up, and then B is zoom in. And I would still occasionally get flustered and, like, hit the wrong special effect.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
And that's not a game criticism. That's just I suck. But that happened a lot. And I was like, fuck, I suck at this goddamn game.
For me, too, I forgot you can press the B button to zoom in, so I was just using the C stick. And like I said, I'm playing on an emulator, so I think I was using my Xbox Series S controller. And so sensitivity, that's settings on my emulator, like I would flick the joystick and it would just zoom in and then zoom right back out all the time on me. And so it just, eventually I remember, I was like, oh yeah, there is a button for this, but yeah, the stick was fucking me up bad.
Yeah, me too. I struggled with that. That's not a criticism though, because by and large, I love the way it's implemented. Game looks great. It's really fun to play, especially once you get a better feel on those things. Dude, when you're in, like, especially a mass of the, like, they look like putties. I kept calling them Power Ranger putties, like the generic robots.
Basically what they are. They're putties.
When you get into a flow of beating on them and, like, you're just rolling, you feel like a fucking, like, you feel like a superhero, and it's so well done. It really is.
Yeah, and the points are just going up. Just V's are flying everywhere. You're getting the little tanks to replenish your VFX meter while you're beating them up.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you're getting to do your slow-mo and everything longer. Oh, yeah. It's, when you get going on a combo, it really, really feels good.
It's really satisfying. And I have to just say, too, I actually thought the music in this game was good, and I really liked I love that fucking Nintendo, for the goddamn life of them, will not put voice acting in a Mario game or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, clearly, like, Resident Evil 4 had voice acting. This had voice acting was capable. Like, they were able to do it. They just didn't. I really like the voice acting in this game, and I love like Hashina Go baby, and like little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I love
that.
that.
It's like all the characters are so over the top too. Like Hulk Davidson, he's like, Davidson is in the house.
Yeah. I did get sick
Like-
of listening to him sing that after a while, but it was cool the first
I
200
never
times.
do.
But and one thing I learned playing it was that they're expecting you to have the audio on, because some of these enemies, and he's a great example, that Davidson guy, you can't always see him, but he'll give you an audio cue of what's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
I've always been a fan of
that's
that
a cool
system.
one too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same as,
audio and visual cues for boss attacks. Like, it's just like, man, like they just pack so much just games and mechanics and style and everything into like this tight little package. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I love when you're fighting, as much as that Another Joe fight makes me so fucking angry. I like that he's basically using the same call outs you are, but in like a weird kind of sinister voice.
Yeah, and like he's got his own six machine and everything. Like,
oh yeah, I've seen some people dunk on that part where you're flying in the six machine too and doing the shoot 'em. I don't know. I thought that I thought that was the. I'm gonna be honest, and I hate to say this because I know I hate it when other people say it to me. But like, I found that to be the easiest part of the game. I sucked at the rest, but I was good at that part.
I thought it was just a really fun thing to do. Like, just the music felt very side scroll shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
And then they still implemented all of Joe's like speed abilities into it.
Yeah.
And like even his spin kick, you can do his spin kick while you're in the sixth machine, and it's just the sixth machine just spins around a bunch, and it's just ridiculous. And I love it.
Yeah, it's really I like that kind of stuff a lot. I did think the bosses all looked cool. I found a couple of them infuriating as all fuck, but I did think they looked cool. And I love the end. I have not gotten to the end of this game, and one of the reasons I'm hesitant to go back, even though I really want to beat it, is because I know there's a boss rush coming up, and I'm like, that I got there on the kids mode and struggled, and I'm like, on adults, this is gonna make me lose my fucking mind, having to fight the 4 bosses back to back to back to back. But I looked up the ending of the game and getting to see, and I don't know anything about movies, so I'm sure there's a term that I don't know what it is. Maybe you do. But the whole thing where you like, it turns out that Captain Blue is the bad guy, and then you do the whole thing where they're in like the giant robotic suits, like fighting like. That kind of shit. I thought that looked so fucking cool. Like that makes me want to stick with it just to get to play that part. Because I just thought it looked awesome.
more Power Rangers reference.
Exactly. That's exactly what it. Yeah, exactly. And then once you fight them in that, you would think that's the end of the game. But then they get out and then they fight fist to fist again, which I thought was fucking really cool as well.
Yeah.
Just very memorable. Like, I thought the bosses, like, I feel like maybe they rely a little too much on those fucking jet fighter helicopter things. I think you fight a few too many of those, and I hate that fucking thing. But like you fight the giant bat thingy. You fight the Davidson, the big rhino motorcycle guy. You fight that alligator underwater. I love that you can like sucker
the fish.
The fish.
Yeah,
Excuse
he's
me.
funny.
Yeah. I like that you can sucker him into like chomping down on his own bomb, and then he's just stuck there with his own bomb in his mouth. Like it's like a Bebop Rocksteady.
And then you punch. Yeah, and then you punch it, and then slow down, and then it makes that bomb explosion even bigger for extra damage. It's just like,
yeah. I thought that was.
He's
cool.
a really easy boss, but I remember he used to kick the shit out of me when I was a kid, and then like when I was an adult, I was like, oh, this guy is really, really fucking easy.
Well, you know, I found him to be, frankly, the easiest boss in the game. But the one thing about
pretty
him,
well regarded, like across the board, that everyone's like, yeah, he's the easiest boss.
Yeah.
Because it would be Charles, but the first time you fight Charles, you don't have all your abilities.
Right.
So
yeah.
that's kind of the.
Now the
Because
thing.
then when you fight Charles in the boss rush, you have all your abilities, and it's like you blink and that fight's over.
Yeah. Now the thing about that fucking fish though that messed me up was that like I didn't have the sound on when I was first fighting him. And then I couldn't figure out, like, how is he getting all his health back? And then I finally played with sound on and realized eventually he just disappears and goes underwater, and you hear him just like, and then all you have to do is go hit him once, and he'll stop replenishing his health. And I was like, that's funny. Like, that made him seem human. Well, not human, but mortal, I guess.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. The another Joe fight, I actually wasn't. I actually thought it was really masterfully done the way you work around that cube. Like, there's the 4 different sides. It's just that I found him so goddamn frustrating I couldn't fucking hit him. Like, it took me and then when I would finally hit him, I'd hit him a few times, and then I'd accidentally fall into the electric water and fucking lose health. And then sometimes he forms all those clones and sends them after you, and I'd go into the slow motion spin kick, and they'd still get through and hit me sometimes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, there's like 2 different ways he can send the clones at you, and yeah, they're just some of the time, like, the hitboxes on those clones is a little fucky. And, like, especially if you let the clones snowball, like, then you're just constantly playing catch-up in that fight. It's like he's got clones out, and then, like, Six Machine is out dropping bombs everywhere. Like, you're trying to find him, and then you just keep falling into electricity, and it's just like, yeah, that one's that makes that boss fucked.
I found him to be
once it starts getting away from you, like, the whole fight just gets away from you, and it doesn't feel like you can get back on your side.
Yeah, I found him to be the most frustrating. And then, like I said, the fact that if I would fight him for fucking 15 minutes and then die, and then have to do it all again. And then eventually, because I actually didn't care for his level either, because that's the one you're going through where it's like,
going through the sub and changing it upside down and everything, right?
Yeah, that's a long fucking level, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and that's got another one of my like, the ones where I was talking about, like, just bad enemy placement. They got those big yellow and black guys that you have to get behind, and you're in these tight little corridors where you can't get behind them. Yeah. And they just put so many of those dudes in, and it's like, okay, come on, you guys.
Now, that said, though, like, and I want to make sure I make this clear, like, before anybody sends me a message about it, I understand that, like, get good. I get it. And I think this game screams get good. And again, I played it for 2 weeks. Yep. If I had owned this game as a younger person, I would have played it like a motherfucker. If I didn't have a bunch of games waiting in the wings to be played for this show right now, I'd probably keep playing it. I am an absolute bona fide Viewtiful Joe fan. He kind of looks like, I want to see him and Mega Man cross over because he looks kind of like a cousin of Mega Man. He's awesome. I love the character. I thought the game was beautiful. I will play Viewtiful Joe 2 at some point. I am a fan. I said it on social media. Like, I don't know if I've ever liked a game that has made me as fucking angry as Viewtiful Joe does. But yeah, that's the thing, was like you said, you get so mad at it, you turn it off and you're like, I'm fucking done. And then 5 hours later, you're like, all right, one more try. Like, it's got that hook, man. It's a fucking superb video game. I don't know why the franchise is dead. It must not have sold all that well.
Yeah, I don't think it did. It was also, I think it was like one of Capcom's like smaller studios that developed it. There's basically like not quite a spiritual successor, but if you've heard of the Wonderful 101,
yeah,
that's like this. That's the same team that is the brain behind Viewtiful Joe, and so they kind of took some elements of Joe and put it into that game. But that's pretty much all they've really done.
Yeah,
that I know of.
What's that?
No, nothing.
Oh. No, yeah, it's too bad, because like I get that Resident Evil is their cash cow and Monster Hunter, and like I've been waiting on a new Mega Man since 11, and like I get it. Like, they've got finite resources, they're gonna make the ones that make the most money. But I'm like, dude, can you imagine what some of the indie studios out there today could do with Viewtiful Joe? Like, oh yeah, I'm a bona fide fan of this franchise now, and I'm like, I just feel like there's still so much untapped potential in the world of Viewtiful Joe. Do something else with this. I don't know what else you do, but do something else with this fucking... Anyway, great game.
Yeah, I also say that as not getting around to ever playing the sequel myself, too. So
sure.
Maybe there's a shitload in the sequel, but...
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing, and I didn't bring it up because neither of us got there, but like, when you do beat it on adults, then you can actually unlock additional playable characters. And
I think you get Sylvia from beating it on adult, and then Captain Blue And I think you can get Alistair as well.
Yeah, you can get Alistair
and
as
then
well.
the PS2 version, you can unlock Dante from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I like that stuff. And I can't believe that there are higher difficulty fucking levels.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, what? But again, though, I this is one of those games that, like, if you've played this game, or even if you haven't played it, watch somebody play it at a really high level. It's pretty impressive. Like,
yeah, it's like watching people out fighting games at high levels.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a little bit of an art to it. So
I could never get there myself, but it is definitely a spectacle to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a fan. I just thought it was a great game. I thoroughly enjoy it. Fuck, it made me so mad. Like, sitting here talking about it right now, I kind of want to fire it back up. But I'm like, I don't want to, because if I do, dude, Molly, I have taken months off Molly's life playing this game because I have gotten so mad and she does not want to be around me. Well, I'm getting so angry at this game. But I'm like, but I got to keep, I don't know. I think part of it, too, is playing it on the GameCube. I just genuinely love playing games on the GameCube. Like, with that controller and stuff. But then just add in that I just thought it was a really well-made video game. The only things that really irritated me was I had a hard time grasping the mechanics, and I wish the checkpoints were a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. And maybe that got fixed in the sequel. Who knows?
Yeah.
And not even fixed. That's just we're babies, and we need our hands held a little bit more.
There needs to be a baby
We're too
mode.
old for really hard video games.
Or why not a third difficulty mode that's like teens?
Yeah.
Because if there was a difficulty between kids and adults, I would have been like, this is the sweet spot for me.
Perfect. That'd be the best.
Fuck me. This week on Expansion Pass, or no, pardon me, next week on Expansion Pass, I'm going to count down the 10 hardest games I've played, and I think, I don't know if it'll make the list, but this is a contender, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing about this game is I feel like once you master it, it's probably a piece of cake. Like, when you get really good at it.
Yeah, I can see it, because, it is like the main, it's the patterns, and I don't think the boss's patterns change. It's like, hey, they do this move, they do this move, they do this move, and it's just, once you learn it, there you go.
Yeah. It's like, if you ever watch somebody at a really high level play like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, like, it is, they make it look like it's just like they're playing with their eyes closed. And I assume this is probably the same way, so.
Yeah.
You good? I'm good. Great game.
I'm good, I think.
Great game. Great fucking game. how the fuck are we gonna score this thing? There's 7 levels.
Yeah, the Shadow 6. That's what the team name's called, right? The bad guys, are they the Shadow 6 or the Shadow 5 or something?
I was gonna suggest scoring it with the Capcom 5.
Okay, yeah.
I like
the Capcom 5.
All right, so you can use decimals because 5 is a lame score. But out of 5, what score do you want to slap on Viewtiful Joe?
I think I'll give her a good like a 4.3. It's just the little bit the checkpoint and that stupid sub, and then the couple puzzles that just
Yeah.
But like even that, it's still just like 4.3 is not enough. Give it 4.5. 4.5 it is.
That's where I am. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna one up. I'm going 4.5. I refuse to take points off it because I suck, but I do genuinely feel like the checkpoint system is frustrating. Even if I could just save.
I still want to go back to it. It's so frustrating, but it's just like I still want to go back.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5. I just think it's a great. Eventually I'll do a top 10 GameCube games, and I don't know where it'll slot, but it's gonna be. I think it's a top 10 GameCube game for me now. I'm a huge fan of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was, I loved it. If I ever see someone at a fucking expo or something cosplaying Viewtiful Joe, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind now. Like, I am a fan.
Well, keep your eyes peeled, because I will be eventually.
Yeah. I like it, buddy. Sorry to interrupt I'm not gonna say where. Oh yeah, right. You're not on vacation. You're rating EA. We'll go back to rating EA. Thank you so much for giving me a shout and talking Viewtiful Joe, and we'll do it again soon.
All right, man.
All right. Take it easy, buddy. That is going to do it for this week's episode, Keegs. Thank you so much for taking time out of your EA shenanigans to talk Viewtiful Joe with me. And to every one of you beautiful people Whether this was your first Remember the Game or your 296th. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And listen, I know I took last week off, and I did mention I'm going to start taking 1 week a month away from Remember the Game just to give myself time to play the games for the show. I'm already feeling great about it. That 1 week just lets me catch my breath. I really miss this. Like, when I do it every week, eventually I'm like, okay, I need a quick breather. But then a quick breather, and I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to get back in there. I love this show. I'm so excited to be this close to episode 300. I'm so grateful to all of you for the support. You're awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And onward and upward toward episode 300. We will be back next week with episode 297, which, as I mentioned earlier, will probably be X-Men 2 Clone Wars for the Sega Genesis. I think we're going to go Bart versus the World on the NES for episode 298. I haven't decided what 299 will be yet. And the big 300 is about a month away, and we're pretty locked in that we're going to do an official episode about The Last of Us. Is it retro? Some will argue with me, but I don't care. I've done this for 300 weeks. I want to talk about one of my favorite games of all time in The Last of Us. So that's coming up as well. Thank you so much, everybody. If you're a Patreon, check us out tomorrow. We'll be back with Expansion Pass, my Slay the Spire board game review, Game Patch on Friday, and we're back next week with a whole nother slab of these stinky things. And don't forget, GameCon Canada here in Edmonton, June 14th to 16th. I'll be there. You should be too. I'm going to thank some Patreons and get the fuck out of here. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Oh, yeah, leave us a nice review if you like the show. I'd appreciate that. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names at the end of this podcast. So, a huge saying of names, too. Remember the Game Hall of Famer Slick fucking Rick. Miss you, buddy. Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan Dissect That Film, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Confused But Still Here, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang Darren, Andy Hudson, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Date Tooker, Gerbs, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Frosty F492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, Madam Nudsich, DBXJ, Steve Dalk, Standard Ass, Brian, Mizuru, Juris, Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Eric James, Jake Carter, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, Thomas Childs, Leroy Westrich, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Brant Hewitt, Matt Babanu, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hega Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, K-Hatch, Jimothy, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof. I cancel my Netflix to afford this shout out. James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Drugs and Bad, okay. Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts is AS, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Wimp 15, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt is part of me, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, X Maverick X, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monstrous the Boner, AB Killen works for me, Alexander Camps, yes it's true, this man has no dick, that's what I heard, Tom Houlihan, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Lucas Valadez, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Just Car Pranks, Rated X, Int, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Tazelhoft, Nick Creature, Youngster TK, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Bianca Belair is overrated, no she's not, Beers of War, Because 19, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrob, Von Hugendon II, Roger Staubox, Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Max Saindon, Sour Goat Face, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Benjamin Atkins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill, Profits, B Money, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chosorizo, Would You Kindly, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Atrio Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Yare, Guy Who Does Things, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Glue Scoppin, Bula, Matt Zeus, By Me Bone Storm, Plow King, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Put It in Age, Chaz Hammond, Elephant Calves, Ace McGuy, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny123, AJ McCurgy, Lotus, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Toby OP, Alex McIntyre, Z Train 22, S, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Son of a Diddly, Ugly, David Schroeder, Theodore, Chicken Gizzards, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, Wilco, VOS Rager, Super Jess, Captain Steve N., Adam's former assistant, Ryan Stemmerding, Shank the Rat-Faced Bastard, Devin Collins, Inhuman Sumo, Crystal Lake Management, Leo, Dazarith, Super Saiyan Sephiroth, and Savage Boosh. That is the best batch of shoutouts I've ever done. Holy fuck. Where's the Tylenol? Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. Cheers.